The things that we did as we looked at our strategic plan a couple of years ago on where we would go and how we would take the business forward. When you think of McDonald's, you don't have to say anything. You know exactly what I mean. Worldwide, when I say McDonald's. In Canada, we have that privilege. When I say Tim Hortons, you know exactly what I mean if you live in Canada. If you look back in history, it didn't used to be McDonald's. It was McDonald's hamburgers. And then over time, as they added to menu, etc., they became famous for being McDonald's. We were Tim Hortons Donuts, because that was our core product. Coffee was almost the side piece, right? But over time, we added more and more products, added day part availability, and we dropped the donuts and became Tim Hortons. And in Canada, we became famous for being Tim Hortons. When we moved to the US, we did not have that luxury of being famous for Tim Hortons, because we could have been a muffler shop in a lot of parts of the US. We're brand new. So who is this Tim Hortons person? By calling it out, it gave the consumer the ability to understand what it is that we do. We may, in fact, if we become as famous in the US as we have in Canada, we might drop the cafe and bake shop. Who knows? Or it could be that we added on. I don't know the future from that standpoint. But what I found very interesting is McDonald's is just famous for being McDonald's worldwide. They don't have to tell anybody what their product line is, because everyone knows. We have that in Canada. We didn't have it in the US, which is why we added the tagline, so that we could properly show people what you're coming in here to receive as a consumer. And we've done the same thing in Dubai. We are the Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, so that we send a signal of exactly what it is that is the product line that we're offering here. So that was kind of the story behind that. Because as an organization, you asked the question about going non-smoking, or even when we brought in bagels. That was a very big move for our chain when we brought in bagels. It was a very big move when we brought in sandwiches, because all of a sudden we were moving away from this place where you grab the snack to now we were moving to a place where you have breakfast, you could have lunch, and a lot of our sandwich base and chilies and soups have now extended into other times as well. So we were going away from being a donut shop. We were going away from being a coffee shop. We now consider ourselves to be restaurants. We are selling a very wide variety of foods. We're selling across day parts. And we're selling a lot of all different types of foods. So we're no longer kind of just coffee donuts. The chain really has evolved to a multifaceted food, quick service food company. We love the healthy halo because we do pay a lot of attention to the healthiness of our products. We also acknowledge and recognize that people like treats. So when you come into a Tim Hortons restaurant, the key is you have choice. You can have a yogurt, you can have our smoothies, wonderful healthy options, our soups, our sandwiches, or you can have a treat and have a donut. You have that Boston cream because it's good. Now, and treats are for, from a health point of view, there's nothing wrong with treats. The only time health is really compromised is if you're eating treats all day and that's all you're eating. But that's not what we provide. So I think what Tim Hortons has tried very hard to do from a brand point of view, and when people see this as being a healthy option and it's working, is our goal is to give people choice. We have very healthy options, and we have other treats that are available that may not be as healthy, but they're there for when we all want to indulge once in a while. Our partnership with Cold Stone was born out of the US before it ever came to Canada. And a big reason for that was there were two reasons for it. One, Cold Stone has an incredible cachet in the US. They have a name. They absolutely have a strong brand image in the US. Tim Hortons is not in the US the way that it is in Canada, which is one of the reasons why we're not Tim Hortons in the US. We're Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop. So we have a tagline so that we can send a message to the consumer as to what it is that we do in here, because that was a learning for us as well. So when you bring in Cold Stone, you had a cachet of a brand that you could add to the Tim Hortons brand, and you could have crossover customers as a result. So they come in because they know Cold Stone, and then they get to see the Tim Hortons brand in action, and hopefully we woo them over as well. So that was one reason in our US business. The other was more of a strategic move on behalf of the entire company, which was a concentration on snack. And what is it that we do as an organization to expand our menu offerings to take more advantage of the PM snack time. And ice cream is one of the number one snacking things in the late afternoon, early evenings. So with that really is a destination play for families, for others, for a treat, really, in that PM snacking. So that was more of the product strategic move. So in the U.S., that's where the Cold Stone partnership started. With the success that we had in the U.S., we started to look at Canada as an option as well. So